Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to part 2 of our Overrated, Underrated series. We're gonna kick off where we left off from yesterday, and the first thing that we were chatting about is blue light exposure. For those of you who don't know, blue light comes from screens, so from technology, your cell phone, your laptop, the TV, that there's certain wavelengths that kind of affect our eyes. So, what do you think?
Yeah, this is good. I don't know a ton about blue light, but I know my college kids tend to not sleep a lot, and they tend to spend a lot of time doing work on the computer or staring at their phone, and the combination of doing that right before bed, not great. It's kind of a give and take with a college kid, like having to do work. So I would say like understanding your sleep cycle or what gets you to sleep best to recover is important. So I would say knowledge on this is underrated, and like knowing how it affects you is underrated.
I 100% agree. There are ways to limit your blue light exposure. So like they have blue light blocking glasses. I have a pair. They kind of help. It's not the magic be all, but on your phones and your laptops, you can change to like night shift. So when the sun I would say when the sun starts going down, but in the winter that's like 4 o'clock. So around like 7, I suggest turning that night shift on, and then your screen will kind of get like this orangey tint, and that is in an effort to reduce those blue light waves, and that will help you with your sleep cycle. Breakfast, underrated.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
I have kids who don't even eat breakfast, and then like they have like nothing for lunch, like a yogurt and fruit, and then they come to work out and they're like, man, I'm so tired and dizzy. And I'm like, well, what'd you eat? And they're like, a banana. You gotta eat more than that, guys.
I have multiple athletes who struggle with breakfast, and we get to practice at 4:30, and they say, man, I don't feel great today. All right, well, what's the last time you ate? I had lunch, but I skipped breakfast. But think about, we had practice that ended at 6, you had dinner at 6:30, and then you didn't eat again till 1 o'clock the next day. We're not recovering. We're not prepping for the next workout. Like, breakfast is so important. Get you up, get you moving, get you ready for the day, prep you for class, prep you for training.
Yeah.
Super important.
If you are one of those kids who struggle, you're just not hungry when you first wake up. Sometimes I have like that issue. Either do something light, like a banana, like an apple, peanut butter, something that can kind of get you through until maybe like mid-morning where you can stomach a little bit more food. Next, recovery days, underrated.
Yeah, for sure. Just
from a nervous system standpoint, you guys, your bodies can only take so much, so you have to give it a chance to rest, and we're chasing certain adaptations, and to do that, you gotta rest.
Yeah, especially from like an athlete standpoint, and we talk about like throwing the shot put is like a super high neural event. So if we're throwing it every day, we're getting that high CNS stimulation no matter what. So having days where we are doing less full throws or drill work, we're not in the weight room, but we're still getting better at the shot put is important. And I think it's important for kids to learn, like, this is going to make me better. Like, going 100% every day is not actually going to make me better. And
yes.
learning the cycle of like training and what a recovery day does for me, what a recovery week does for me, in the grand scheme of like the season is very important. So yes, very underrated.
It doesn't mean be a couch potato though. You still need to get up and move your body and stretch and all that good stuff. Let's see, pre-workout. Supplement.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm overrated.
Okay.
100%. I think, like I was saying, a lot of myths about, and like misinformation about supplements, especially in the NCAA. There's a lot of things that might seem okay, but are on the banned substance list.
Right.
I think knowing what you're taking is important. I also think if you are eating right, like, you should be fueled up and ready to go for your workout. There's a mental aspect to it, like, people get jacked up and excited, and like, if you're going for a big lift, I can understand it. I would say overrated.
Again, this happened in the other one. I feel like a hypocrite because I take pre-workout, but I also would agree that it's kind of overrated. I try to limit it to like 3 days a week, and one, because just it's so much caffeine that it's gonna mess up your sleep cycle. It's gonna mess up your recovery, stuff like that if you're constantly taking it. And if you have to rely on pre-workout as your energy, your recovery is not up to par. And so like there's something wrong if you're like, man, this lift is gonna suck because I didn't take my scoop of pre. Like, there might be something else going on there. Let's see, crunches. What do you think?
Crunches. I can't tell you how many times an athlete tells me like, man, I want to get a six pack. I want to knock out a bunch of sit-ups. So crunches, overrated.
Yes.
I try to teach the athletes the core isn't just like six-pack muscles.
Yep.
It's so much more, and like doing a heavy squat or doing a leopard crawl or doing a glute bridge, like it's all sort of core encompassing. Mm-hmm. Like throwing the hammer, like a whole session of throwing the hammer, that is a lot of core work. So we're working the core a lot. So specifically crunches, overrated.
I would agree. I'd love to get your opinion on, like, do you still think it's, I guess, okay to train maybe sit-ups or like flexion and extension movements for your core? Because we train a lot of isometrics, but like muscles have three components to it: the concentric when you like pull it closer, the eccentric when you extend it, and then isometric is just here, keep it still.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I think there's, like, we train a lot of anti-rotation for core, if we're specifically training core. Especially like in the hammer throw, we're trying to not get too extended or let the hammer pull us forward. So we do a lot of that sort of isometric work. You know, like, are we throwing sit-ups into a Metcon? Sure, but it's not specifically training core.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to train the core and time and place, and if it's working correctly and we're doing it correctly, sure.
Yeah. Cool. Last one, distance running for power and speed sports. First thing, I want to kind of clarify, what do you count as distance? So like if someone says, I'm going to go for a long run, what's kind of the cap at which you would qualify it as a long run?
Over 800 meters.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just a lot of time I have athletes, so this is, to me, is totally overrated.
Okay.
I have a lot of athletes that go like, I need to get fit, so I'm gonna go for a 30-minute run, and we're just slogging through 30 minutes of nothing. We're not accomplishing anything. Where fitness, or the, you know, in my world, the ability to run a 100-meter prelim and 2 hours come back fully recovered for the final, or take 6 shot put throws in an hour at 100%, like the ability to recover in between is the fitness we're talking about.
Yep.
You know, post-college, you want to go run marathons after being a shot put? Go to town, do whatever you want. I don't care. During that time, we're working towards like running faster or throwing further. We don't need that sort of just long, unnecessary times of just nothing training.
Yes.
We get our fitness more from like bodyweight circuits. I think pushing the sled is great. Getting on a rower, getting on a bike, like doing sort of Metcon.
Like interval type.
Intervals,
training.
yeah, absolutely. Now there is, you know, field hockey, soccer, football, there's an element of those things in there. I still don't think you need to go out and run crazy miles, like we were talking about a basketball player running cross country to get in shape for basketball.
Right.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. It's you're training different systems, right? So if you want to get good at long distance running, you practice long distance running. I see nothing wrong with maybe going for like a 3-mile jog, like on recovery days. If it really is kind of like a jog and you're just kind of taking it easy, like comfortable pace where you can hold a conversation, maybe even in the off season, I think that's fine. As you get closer to the season, you might want to make it more sport specific. I think something that is underrated is tempo runs. And so it's like you're gonna get more out of it because you're gonna be more towards game speed. So you run at like 80% for max 800 meters, and then you kind of walk or jog for 400 meters, and then you do that continuously. And then for our field sports athletes, you can even do this on a field. Go to the 18 line, come back, go do zigzags, but you're able to mix in that high intensity with a lower intensity break in between, and you're still going to get the desired stimulus that you want. Like, and it's more sport specific than just going for a run.
Sure.
But yeah, that is part 2. Matt, thank you for joining us. It was a fun time. If you guys like this video and you want us to do another one, or if you just want to learn more from Matt, either reach out to one of the coaches directly, drop us a comment down below, or message us on Facebook and Instagram, and we can do that for you. Always a pleasure. See you later.